We're gonna make a killer tomahawk. No mistake about it. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm your host, Captain Ron. Today we're gonna do something really cool. So I was going through YouTube trying to get some inspiration and I found a tale called Salty Tales Channel, and he did this Parmesan Crusted Herb Tomahawk. It looked phenomenal. So we're gonna put our own little twist on it and we're gonna make a version of that today. Parmesan Crusted Tomahawk. Have you ever heard of such a thing? So if you don't know what a tomahawk is, let me tell you, it's a steak, but it's more than that. It is a ribeye steak with a big long bone. That's all it is, just a ribeye, just really fancy looking. This is the eye. This is called the spinalis. Now you know both parts of the ribeye. Tasty is what I call them both. You ever had a ribeye cap? They take this and they roll it. They cut it off the whole entire roast, roll it, and they have steaks like that. Delicious too. But we're gonna do something different. We're gonna coat this. We're gonna reverse sear it. No. We're not gonna reverse sear it. We're gonna sear it first. That's what usually happens here, is that these things, these big thick steaks like this, get cooked and then seared. No. We're gonna sear it first. We're gonna put this beautiful topping on top of it, and we're gonna cook that indirect. Finish it off like that. So sear first, crust it, and then cook it. It's gonna be crazy. Let's get started. Okay, here's a question for you. When you're cooking on any grill, what's the one thing you have to do? I'll wait. Light it. Let's get light in the grill, shall we? First step, charcoal. Now you're probably wondering what I'm doing here. Well, let me tell you, we're gonna cook on two different zones, and I really want the heat on one side of it a lot more than the other. So I'm just gonna bank all my charcoal to one side like this and light her up. Now I know you don't know what our total cook is gonna be here, but let's talk about our configuration. What I've got is one side down low. I have a cast iron half moon pan here. The other side is completely indirect. So we're gonna put the cast iron pan over the side with all the charcoal that I just lit. Just like that. Now that our grill is lit, our first step is to season our steak, because what do? We season our steak way before we cook it. Why do we do that? Okay, I'll tell you. Because what happens is when we put salt and pepper and our seasonings on the outside of this steak, what's gonna happen is we're gonna put it on and the juices are gonna come up out of that steak, grab a hold of the seasonings and pull it back in, so that the middle of the steak is gonna be just as flavorful as the outside layer. Pretty cool, right? You're probably asking, why did Ron make a line of salt and pepper on the board like that? Because this is how you season the sides. Now we're gonna try something different. I've never tried this, so we're doing something for the first time ourselves. I saw this done, I wanted to give it a whirl. They cut this down here, this fat, down to the meat so that it could render, and it looked really cool when it was done. So I'm just gonna give it a little slice. So while this is resting here, we're gonna check our grill, see how hot it is. We want it to get hot, just hot enough to sear though, okay? So we want it so that when water is dropped on this cast iron, it's gonna really bounce off. So let's see. That's good, but we're gonna let that go for another minute or two. It is time to sear our steak. Here we go. You know, the old way of thinking thought that if you sear your steak first, you're searing your juices in. It's not true. That's why we can get away with the reverse sear so well these days. Well, let's see what we've got. Oh yeah, look at that sear. That's a beautiful thing. Look how much of that fat rendered out already too. Now we just flip her over, set her right back down. All right, let's check the other side now. Oh yeah. See all this gold in here? That's called the Maillard reaction. Maillard, it's the caramelization of all the sugars. Now you see all this fat? We gotta sear that too. Okay, and she is all done. Isn't that beautiful? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna close this down, all right? We wanna cool it off if we can a bit while we're making our paste or our crust, whatever you want to call it. And we notice that I put this on a wire rack in this pan here, because what's going to do is if you set it right on the board, that steam is going to continue to cook the bottom layer. This will allow air to get around it. So while the steak is resting, we're going to make our crust. 1 cup of high quality panko breadcrumbs. 1 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, fresh preferably. 3 tablespoons of chopped fresh rosemary. 3 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley. 3 teaspoons of chopped fresh thyme, 2 tablespoons chopped fresh basil, and 4 cloves of garlic that we're gonna mince up. We'll even use a couple extra. Then a little salt and pepper. And finally, our last part of our paste is our oil. Use a really good extra virgin olive oil. This one's from Flora. Really good stuff, first press, and you can drink this stuff. It's so good. So when you're doing this, you want to actually form a paste. You don't want something too liquidy, but you don't want it still granular like this. So we're going to add a little more oil. The nice part is when you do this, add little bits of oil at a time, because all of a sudden you'll be right where you need it to be, and it's going to sneak up on you. So just add a little bit at a time until you got the desired consistency. So as you can see, we got it good here. This is kind of at a pastier consistency. You don't want to overload it with oil either. So just kind of take a little in your hand, squeeze it together. If it forms a ball like that and stays, that's how you know that you are in good shape. Now let me just grab our steak back here again. And we're only going to put the paste on one side of it, the top side. So let's see here. We'll go on that side. Now this is the difficult part, folks. This is the really difficult part. You have to be careful. Take this and very carefully put it on your steak. We're going to spread this around in a thin layer. We're going to coat the whole top half of the steak. As you can see, it made way too much of the mixture. But oh man, is it going to be good. I put a thick coat on here. So all we have to do now is set it on the grill. Okay, on our indirect side. Remember, indirect side. Give it a one last pat. Make sure it all stays together. We're at 275 degrees grill temperature. We're going to put our meter in. Let me go get my meter. We almost forgot that. I'll be right back. Now when you're using the meter, there's a line on here you wanted to go into. So we're going to stick it right in the side of the meat. Go right up to that line. Right there. We're going to cook this to 120 degrees. I'm so excited. Our steak is now on there and it's cooking away. So we're cooking at 275 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to let that go till the steak hits an internal temperature of 120. All right. Now, a little bit of a recap of what we did. We seared off the steak first. That's right. We seared it first, and now we're cooking it. We made that beautiful, beautiful crust that's going to go on there. And again, I want to reiterate, I rested it on this. There's this wire rack inside this pan here that is perfect for resting steaks. It allows it to not continue to cook. If you take a steak off the grill, set it on your cutting board, all that heat on the bottom is continuing to cook that. We don't want to continue to cook it. We want to rest it. So we got lucky, our resting was done while we made our mixture. We coated the mixture, it's back in there at 275 degrees. We're gonna cook it to 120, and we are gonna be in tomahawk heaven, baby. And let's see here. Oh yeah, look at that, baby. So we're reading 123 on the thermometer, so we're gonna pull this off of here. Wow, that's hot. Now that is a beauty, but come over here with me for a second. I wanna show you something. Remember we had the cast iron half moon in here? Well, this steak was so much quality, had so much marbling in it, it seeped a lot of fats out. It rendered out a lot of fat, and it was really smoking. I didn't want to give this steak a bitter taste, so we pulled that out of there, and we put another half moon in there. So, just in case you're wondering, that's what we did. And now, the moment of truth. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, that coating wants to come off. It's pretty crumbly. Oh man, this looks so good. I gotta try this out for myself. Parmesan Crusted Tomahawk steak. Holy cow. I gotta tell you, that Salty Tails, he had a great idea when he did this. So let me give this a whirl. Oh man. Oh man, is that good. I wonder what he would say if he was here right now. Huh. What?
Let me try a little piece of this thing, man.
Where did he come from?
Man.
How is it?
Sure. Delicious.
It's what?
Delicious, baby!
It is, man.
Oh my God!
Ladies and gentlemen, Salty Tails channel over here. This is my buddy Ninja.
And Rusty.
And Rusty.
And Rusty.
He's a little rusty. So.
Man.
Man, I'm so glad you're here. So, I found this recipe that you made, and I gotta tell you, it's fantastic.
Let me tell you, man, you kill it.
Yeah?
This thing is tender, it's juicy, it's perfectly cooked, and it is delicious, baby!
That's right. You only forgot to say how handsome I am. Oh, no, it's not gonna get him.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, I don't want to talk about that either. Hey, you want to have another try, though?
Hey.
Let's have another bite.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Perfect coloring all the way from coast to coast.
A little more of the crust.
You see?
You know what? You're right.
Let me fix my microphone.
Yeah, please do. You're right about one thing.
What?
It is delicious.
Yeah, baby.
Anyway, folks, You're probably not gonna make this every time you make a steak or something like that, but if you have a special occasion, you got some friends coming over, you got some special guests, you got salty tails coming over, this is a phenomenal thing to make. It is so good. I might go a little bit thinner on the crust next time. I think it really might help it adhere a little bit better.
No, make a mountain. Make it bigger. Make a continent on top of this thing, man.
An entire continent on top of our tomahawk?
Listen, all those herbs and all that cheese and all that stuff brings so much flavor into this thing, and it goes inside the steak without taking away the beef flavor.
Yep.
It is delicious. It is something that you should do, and I'm out of here.
Oh man, bye Ninja. So that's our show for today, folks. Don't forget to give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and also leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about this. Do you want to try a Parmesan herb crusted tomahawk steak? You know you do. Let me know down below in the comments. Anyway, until the next time, I want you to remember, get out and grill, and I will see you the next time right here